tomorrow. We no go gree, oh. We no go gree, oh. We no go gree, oh. Not today, not tomorrow. We no go gree, oh. We no go gree, oh. We no go gree, oh. Not today, not tomorrow.
One that we thought aspects of it were unconstitutional, especially in terms of how the councils of the universities were going to be operating.
The council in most institutions are made up of about 21 people. The new bill is whittling the numbers down to 13. And of this number, the majority are to be appointed by the president or nominated by the president. This is in violation of the existing rules, as especially if you go to the Constitution itself, Article 1953. Then we are talking about the fact that the chairman of council is also to be appointed by the president. That also violates the Constitution. The fact that the president is appointing the chancellors is also, at least according to the spirit of the law, it violates the Constitution, because the chancellor is not supposed to be appointed as chancellor. So if he ends up appointing the chancellors, they are going to be proxies for the government. And therefore it will introduce unnecessary executive interference in the running of the universities. We are also talking about the fact that the government representatives can form a quorum and make decisions for the running of the universities. There is also the situation where the president can say that a university council is dissolved on grounds of an emergency, which emergency is not defined, and for an interim council to be appointed and for the government to run the universities through this interim council. The composition of the interim council is not defined.
There's nothing that would prevent a head of state, a president, from deciding that there's some commotion going on in one of the halls of residence or in a particular department or under the jurisdiction of a particular vice chancellor that they are not comfortable with, and decide to come and close down the university. For how long? And until what changes? Will the program that is causing confusion have to be closed down? Will the individual who is a problem have to leave? Will the officer have to vacate his or her post? Will the hall of residence have to be closed? We think that this is not something that we want to see in a democratic dispensation. Recently on Omai FM, the president conceded that there were some issues with the bill, but he also said that the bill was uncontestable. We beg respectfully to differ and think that the bill in its entirety is unnecessary and unhelpful. There's another aspect of the bill that says that the Minister of Education can decide which programs we should run. This is not what we want for higher education. And again, it curtails your academic freedom to do the research that you think is important. We know of countries where research has been tweaked to present a certain narrative, right? Ghana has not been one of those countries. Ghana has been heralded as a place where there is freedom and people are able to do what they want to do. And these fears are not unfounded. We have seen it happen in Cameroon. We have seen it happen in Uganda. We have seen it in other countries on the continent. We've seen it happen in Kenya, where these kinds of legislation have then either been used directly to tell people what to teach and not to teach, which research to do and not to do, but has also been used to cow individuals.
It is for this reason that governments are supposed to protect this freedom and to ensure that it is respected on the campuses as well as even off campus. So in this context, we see a situation where over the years, universities have fought to protect this freedom. Going back from the time of Nkrumah up to where we are now, the current 1992 Constitution recognizes academic freedom directly in the Constitution. That is the first time we've had such a dispensation, recognition in the constitutional dispensation of the country. So if you go to Article 21(1)(b), academic freedom is recognized as such. Then there are equally other provisions in the Constitution that seeks to protect academic freedom. if you go to Article 68 1B of the Constitution, it bars the president from holding the office of chancellor. And it wasn't just put there. It was because previously presidents and heads of state had occupied that position and used that as an avenue to infringe on the university space. So there is also another provision, Article 1953, which says that the president can appoint leaders in other public institutions. But when it comes to the university, it is the university that has the rights and the power to appoint chairpersons for the university council, and also to regulate or to determine the self-governance of the university itself. And therefore, the university governing council, being a very prominent part of university education, is supposed to be controlled by the university itself.
Those of us at UTAG-Legon want to assure Ghanaians that this struggle is not about a hidden agenda that we have. We are really concerned about what this Public Universities Bill will potentially do to higher education, what it might do for our prospective students in curtailing what they might study. We are concerned about what lecturers can teach, what research they can do across the country. We are concerned about our image as a nation where democracy has been hailed. We are not partisan. In fact, we belong to different parties. Some of us do not belong to any party at all. In elections, we vote differently. And our only agenda is to insulate and continue to protect higher education from the potential interference of the executive arm of government in this country.
We no go gree, not today, not tomorrow. We no go gree.